Tonight on News 3 New Mexico, the state joins others in making cannabis legal.
And what will the weekend weather look like? Find out in my full weather forecast.
And homeless Girl Scouts make cookie sale records. News 3 New Mexico starts right now.
This is News 3 New Mexico, your local source for news, sports, and first weather.
Good evening and welcome to News 3 New Mexico. I'm Marilyn Upchurch. New Mexico's legislature has approved the legalization of recreational marijuana for adults 21 and older in a bill that the governor plans to sign, extending the legal cannabis market in the American Southwest by April 2022. The State House agreed with Senate amendments Wednesday to provide the legislature's final approval. A companion bill automatically erases some past marijuana convictions and reconsider criminal sentences for about 100 prisoners. Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham called a special legislation this week to push for legalization of marijuana in efforts to spur employment and a stable new source of state income. She is expected to sign the package of bills. Clovis Municipal Schools is asking the public to help identify a man who vandalized Zia Elementary, causing thousands of dollars of damage. The suspect was caught on camera throwing rocks at the school's front doors. He was also seen on camera near an HVAC unit that was damaged. The man was wearing denim pants, a long-sleeve white shirt, a white baseball cap with a black front, and was carrying a black jacket. People say he have reported seeing him in the Clovis area. Anyone who has any information on the individual is asked to call the Clovis Municipal Schools Administration office at 575-769-4300 or the Clovis Police Department at 575-769-1921. Two indigenous communities in New Mexico are suing the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency over a federal rule that lifts protections for streams, creeks, and wetlands across the nation. Jemez and Laguna Pueblos are raising concerns over inadequate protections for local water in the desert Southwest. The challenge follows a similar case filed in 2020 by the Navajo Nation and several environmental groups. Laguna and Jemez say waters that flow through their lands are used for domestic and agricultural uses and for cultural and ceremony practices. Well, today looked like it was going to rain, but it didn't end up raining, and I hear that the weekend weather is supposed to be pretty warm. I'm hoping you have good news.
You know, that's right, Marilyn. We can be expecting a pretty big increase of the temperature as from last week. So if we go over and take a look at our current temperatures, we can see that there has actually been a pretty decent spike in temperature increasing. So we can take a look in Farmington. It is currently 76, 69 in Gallup, and 73 in Santa Fe. However, as we take a look down to the southeast, that's where we're going to see the increase the most, as we see 77 in Tucumcari, 74 in Clovis, 74 in Portales as well, 78 in Roswell, so it is heating up a little bit, and we do have an 87 in Clovis. Now looking at tonight's lows, we can expect it to dip down quite a bit as we see 39 in Farmington and 32 in Gallup. And that is all the weather I have for you right now. Let's go back to Marilyn at the desk.
The Albuquerque Police Department are investigating a crash on I-25 that killed two young children. Police say alcohol was a factor. Two 23-year-old women, Alexis Martinez and Danielle Ortiz, were in the car with four children in the back seat. Martinez was driving the car heading west on I-40, taking the on-ramp onto I-25 when the car went airborne, then slammed into the wall, and an infant boy and 7-year-old girl were killed in the crash. Another young child and the driver are both in critical condition. Martinez and Ortiz will be charged with 2 accounts of abandonment or abuse of a child resulting in death and 2 counts of abandonment or abuse of a child resulting in great bodily injury. We want to remind you to not drink and drive. The Portales Police Department will be having sobriety checkpoints, and they say to have a designated driver. Make plans ahead of time, and together we can keep New Mexico's roadways safe. Democratic Party leaders rallied behind State Representative Melanie Stansbury as the nominee to defend an Albuquerque-based congressional seat left open by newly confirmed Secretary of Interior Deb Haaland. Stansbury on Wednesday won against State Senator Antoinette Cedillo Lopez by 4 votes in balloting among 200 members of the state committee on the nomination. The second-term legislature will confront Republican State Senator Mark Moores in a June 1st special congressional election. Democrats have held the first congressional district seat since 2009. Republican Heather Wilson won the district's last special election more than 2 decades ago. Overwhelmed and underprepared U.S. authorities are releasing migrant families on the Mexican border without notices to appear in immigration court or sometimes without any paperwork at all. U.S. immigration authorities say court notices often take hours to prepare and describe the move as a way to save time. The quick releases ease pressure on the Border Patrol and their overcrowded holding facilities, but shift work to Immigration and Customs and Enforcement, which enforces immigration laws within the United States. Migrants are now being told to report to ICE within 60 days. We'll be back for weather with Scott after the break, but first, here's a look at today's financial markets.
Welcome back, Eastern New Mexico. My name is Scott Haas, and this is your full weather forecast. So, taking a look at our satellite and radar, we can see that there's quite a bit going on in the Northeast, as we can see some snowfall accumulating down by New York, Washington, D.C., you name it. If we take a look over to the West Coast, we don't see too much on the shores, or the coast, excuse me. However, once we dip into Arizona, we can see that a little bit of rain is starting to fall down, which is coming into New Mexico. What does that mean for our lovely state of New Mexico? We can see scattered rainfall across the northwest in parts like Albuquerque and Santa Fe. What does that mean for the southeast? Unfortunately, not too much, as we won't see a lick of that rain, but we can be expecting to see some windy conditions and also cloud coverage. Now let's take a look at some of our current temperatures. As we jump into Farmington, we can see 76, 69 in Gallup, and 73 in Santa Fe. Going down to Las Cruces, a very healthy 87, 81 in Alamogordo, and 67 in Ruidoso. Going to the southeast, we can see 74 in Clovis and Portales, 78 in Roswell, and 73 in Hobbs. Now let's take a look at tonight's lows, as we can expect to see 43 in Santa Fe, 51 in Albuquerque, and 44 in Santa Rosa. As we go to the Four Corners region, 42 in Farmington and 34 in Gallup. Going to the southeast, we can expect to see 43 in Clovis and 44 in Portales, and then 48 down in Hobbs. Now, let's take a look at tomorrow's highs, 78 in Silver City, 85 in Las Cruces, 81 in TRC, and 85 in Alamogordo, so very hot in the southwest, All right, now taking a look at the southwest, southeast, 75 in Clovis, 76 in Portales, and 72 down in Hobbs. Now let's take a look at our 7-day forecast for the city of Carlsbad, as we see 77 Saturday and Sunday, 91 on Monday and 90 on Tuesday, very windy days, 86 on Wednesday and Thursday, 87, wrapping the week up on Friday at 83. Now as we jump into our Portales' 7-day forecast, we can see Saturday and Sunday, pretty similar at 76 and 78. We will be jumping up the temperature to 88 on Monday, 85 on Tuesday with pretty heavy winds as well on Wednesday. And then going to Thursday, we see very sunny skies at 80 degrees and wrapping the week up at 79 on Friday.
Those are some exciting temperatures. I'm really excited to see that it's warming up and it's going to be great for Easter weekend. Well, that's all the weather we have for you right now. Stay tuned. We have more news after the break. Starting this Friday, C&S Auto Parts Store in Portales is inviting food trucks to showcase their food in their parking lot on the first Friday of every month. They expect to have mini donuts, barbecue, and tacos. They want to encourage the community and vendors to come together and celebrate food. They are located at 300 West 1st Street in Portales. For more information, you can contact Victor at 575-607-7856. Enthusiasts purchased 45 windmills from Roosevelt County on Saturday, which brought in $17,500. The money will help with upkeep of the county's other windmills, which once belonged to the late area collector Bill Daly. Many of the donated windmills began to fall into disrepair, and commissioners decided to auction some so proceeds could help with maintaining those that remained. Windmills sold Saturday at the county fairgrounds brought anywhere from $25 to $2,000, with the most prominent buyer being Roosevelt County resident Sharon Davis. She bought 9. The 2021 UFO Festival in Roswell, New Mexico will take place, and event organizers are hoping to have 40,000 attendees. The festival is set to be held on July 2nd to the 4th and bring in tourists from around the world. The festival will capitalize on the reopening of the region after a year of a pent-up economy during the coronavirus pandemic. Though it is difficult to say with the pandemic how many attendees there will be, the organizers hope to make it a safe in-person event while following health orders. Organizers have a goal of doubling the attendance from 2019. 2022 will be the 75th anniversary of the supposed UFO crash. For more information, you can visit www.ufofestival.com. A New Mexico firefighter was able to move a swarm of about 15,000 bees out of a person's car. Sunday, firefighters were called to a grocery store parking lot in Las Cruces, where the swarm had invaded a shopper's car while they were in the store. They enlisted the help of a fellow firefighter who is a beekeeper in his spare time. He showed up with his gear, including lemongrass oil, gloves, and a beekeeper suit. It took him about 2 hours to remove the bees and relocate them to a property outside of town. A security guard was stung, but no major injuries were reported. A Girl Scout troop from an Iowa homeless shelter reached their goal of selling cookies in all 50 states. CNN's Jennifer Griswold has the story.
A giant heart in chalk leads people to cookie pickup.
A Girl Scout cookies are here.
Aubrey is one of 6 to 8 girls in her troop.
I have a couple of them that will stop me in the hallways and ask me when is the next Girl Scouts. And we have to talk about how many more sleeps they have until Girl Scouts, or how many more days, depending on their age.
The troop size varies because Troop 64224 operates out of Micah House, a homeless shelter. They also run year-round.
We are always full. Everybody's circumstance is different. So sometimes, yeah, it is the change of the economy that brought this family in, but this other family is coming in because of domestic violence.
Kayla Terillian, who is the child program specialist, says they started in 2018. Last year, they sold 1,000 boxes, so they hope to do it again.
And we completely and utterly surpassed it.
Not unusual for a Girl Scout troop to have an event for people to come pick up their cookies, but in this case, these sales only account for a small percentage because they exploded online.
No, I can't wrap my head around 26,000 boxes of cookies.
More than 26,000 boxes sold. Most were direct online sales. As they started picking up steam, a new goal.
We're like, well, what if we try and get 50 states sold too? So we started putting it out there that we wanted to sell to 50 states.
They shared their story on social media. Friends would tag friends in unrepresented states. They got national media coverage too.
And just started coloring them in as they came in.
They hit that goal, all 50 states.
People see that we are a homeless shelter, but we are trying to give as much normalcy as possible to our girls and to our families who are staying with us.
The cookies may be delicious. Do you like to sell the cookies too?
Yeah, the cookie that I like is Thin Mint because it's minty.
But giving these girls something to look forward to and a chance to bond with friends during a tough time, that's the sweetness.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for your support. We appreciate it. Yes.
That sold people on helping.
There is still time to grab yourself some Girl Scout cookies online. You can visit girlscouts.org. Make sure to stay tuned. We'll have a sports news update right after this break. The University of Texas has hired Chris Beard away from Texas Tech to lead the Longhorns basketball program. Beard led the Red Raiders to an NCAA tournament runner-up finish 2 seasons ago. He goes to Texas after Shaka Smart left the Longhorns for Marquette after 6 seasons. Smart's Texas teams made the tournament only 3 times and lost in the first round each time. Texas Tech Athletic Director Kirby Hocutt says the school was willing to give Beard a rolling lifetime contract. He says he is frustrated by what happened. Beard says it was the most difficult decision in his life to return to his alma mater at Texas. Texas has not won an NCAA tournament game since 2014 and have been to only one NCAA final, 4 since 1947. Beard says he knows the expectations are high at Texas. He says that's what he has signed up for, according to the AP. Our Portales Rams football team will compete tomorrow against the St. Pius Sartans. The Rams currently hold a record of 3-1, and the Sartans are at 1-2. That game will take place at 1 p.m. here at Greyhound Stadium and is the last game of the season. Yesterday, the Dexter Demons took on the Sakura Warriors in their last game of the season. The Demons finished their season with a record of 3-2, while the Warriors finished undefeated at 5-0. And finally, finishing with some volleyball, the top-seeded Melrose Lady Buffs took on the number 3-seeded Gateway Christian Warriors in the 1A state championship yesterday afternoon. And while fans weren't allowed in the pit where the game took place, the community of Melrose gathered close by to watch the live stream.
Back row. The set, and it's over. Tense moments here on the far side.
The Buffs won this close matchup 3-1 and topped off their season with a record of 14-1. There's a quick look into the sports world for you, but make sure to stay tuned and we'll be back after the break. Well, Scott, to wrap it up, what do we have weather-wise for Easter weekend?
You know, Marilyn, we can actually be expecting some pretty good weather for this holiday weekend as we take a look at our weekend planner. These are the temperatures we can be expecting for the weekend. As we see today, we had a high of about 79, very sunny, very dry outside. Tomorrow, pretty much the same story. We can be expecting a little bit of cloud coverage, but a high of 75, so nothing too crazy. And then on Sunday, we will be wrapping it up very sunny at 74 to be kicking off your Easter weekend. Now back to Marilyn at the desk.
Well, that is all that we have for you this evening, but we want to leave you with the sights and sounds from last Saturday's football matchup between the Clovis Wildcats and Carlsbad Cavemen. The Wildcats will take on Roswell High School tomorrow afternoon at 2. Have a safe holiday weekend, and we will be back with news breaks on Monday. Good night.
Ball carrier number 1, Justin Webskowski for the touchdown.